I think OKR started the game as favourites. I think the performance on Thursday night was really good. You know, I did tip them for a win, but I thought it would be tight, and I thought it would be, you know, end to end, and it would be a nervy win. But you know, fair play to them. I thought they were great, and I think, you know, when you've got such a dominant player as Rovers have had with Campese, you know, some people drift into the shell and just think, well, I don't need to do that because he can do it, and he does it, and he leads us round, and you know, I'll just do other things. But I thought collectively Rovers stood up and took those responsibility roles that Campese have had, and they shared them out fantastically well. I thought Kelly, you know, we've all known what a great individualist he is, if that's a word, you know, and he's created things for himself all season brilliantly, but he created for himself. I thought on Thursday he took that responsibility. His kicking game was good. You know, I thought he led the team around perfectly. You know, I thought Bobby Blair partnered him really well, and you could tell that they've got a partnership there, and it wasn't something that was new to them. You could tell that. And I thought Tyrone McCarthy, just his leadership and his work rate was sensational. You know, and I thought they were really, really good. And you know, as I said, the senior players really stood up, and it was a good victory, and it was you know, Warrington were never in the game, and OKR, you know, battered them from minute 1 to minute 80, and you know, I'm sure Chris Chester was delighted with that performance. But again, you know, they need that again this week if they're going to beat Catalans. You know, Catalans worked great at the weekend, and you know, they've lost another half-back by the looks of it in Thomas Bosch. So they're struggling for numbers as well, and you know, we know they don't travel well. You know, we form, and you know, history tells you that Catalan aren't great on the road. So I think OKR have got to make, you know, the Lightstream Stadium on Friday, Thursday night, tough, intimidating place to play. And if they play like that, then you know, I think they'll be tough to beat. I thought Kieran Dixon, another one who was, you know, really good. You know, we've seen all year that he's got, you know, brilliance in him. You know, but he's always come up with 1 or 2 mistakes, and I thought last week he was really good. You know, and we saw Kieran Dixon, you know, at his best, and you know, he really is a threat. But anybody with that pace and that agility, he's always going to be a threat.
Possibility of Dane Tills, Craig Murdock, Sean Lunt back. How important will that be?
Well, yeah, it's, you know, it's great. That's, you know, great for Chesney to have them selection dilemmas, but also you've got to look at the side that they put out. You know, and if you're one of them guys who get left out, you're scratching your head a little bit, thinking, you know, what more do I have to do? But you know, as Chesney would like, you know, they're his decisions. That's why he gets paid his money to make those decisions, and you know, he knows the ins and outs of that side a lot better than I do. And you know, it's one of those where, you know, he's damned if he does and he's damned if he don't, you know, and the result will tell if whether he's done the right thing. But, you know, looking at it, you know, with the experience that I've got over many years of watching him play in this game, I think he's got to bring them back if they're fit. You know, we can almost smell Wembley, can't you? Stand on your tiptoes and you can see it, can't you? It's there. You know, and with that home draw, I think you've got to put out your 17 strongest side, regardless of the performance the guys put in last week. So, you know, I expect them to come back and you know, obviously make OKR stronger for that game.
How well have Rovers done coping with the injuries? Looking at the league table, they're level on points with the 8th place team, and they're getting players back now for the run.
You know, it's great, isn't it? You know, it really is. We've talked about it, you know, over and over again in this column, haven't we? About how good the league's been this year, and you know how tight it is, and it's coming down to the business end with realistically 11 teams still in the hunt for those top 8 places. And I think even in the wildest dreams, the RFL with this every minute matters slogan couldn't have dreamed of a better scenario as we're going in with, you know, 4 and 5 games left of the league being so tight. And I think that's key, isn't it? That, you know, teams who have got their players fit are winning games, and you've got to win when you've got that momentum and when you've got your fully fit side, because you're going to have a run when you've had injuries. You look at Hull FC the last month. You know, they've been pretty injury free and they've been winning games. Now they're picking up a couple of injuries, and you know, Rovers have been depleted and they've been losing games. Now they've got some players back, and you know, they've got a little bit of momentum. So it's going to be a great next 4 or 5 weeks in the Super League and the Challenge Cup.